Okay, let's set the scene. It's 1872. Japan is in the middle of this seismic transformation. It's shedding centuries of feudalism to face a brand new modern world. And right at this pivotal moment, a book drops that ends up selling over 3 million copies and provides the intellectual blueprint for the entire nation. Fukuzawa Yukichi's An Encouragement of Learning. The book opens with that thunderclap of a sentence. Just imagine hearing that for the first time in a society that was built on a super rigid class structure of samurai, farmers, artisans, and merchants. This wasn't just some nice-sounding phrase, you know? This was a revolutionary declaration that everyone, by birth, is fundamentally equal.
And here's the brilliant part. Fukuzawa immediately hooks you by tackling the obvious contradiction. He looks around at the Japan of his day, a world of nobles and commoners, rich and poor, and asks the question we're all thinking. If we're all born equal, what on earth explains the huge gap between that ideal and the reality we see every day?
That question is the puzzle at the very heart of his book. And his answer wasn't just some abstract philosophical idea. It was a practical guide, a real call to action that would completely redefine what it meant to be a citizen in this new Japan. So, how did Fukuzawa solve this puzzle? How did he square that circle? Well, he introduced a really crucial distinction between two different kinds of equality, and this idea is the foundation for his entire argument. First, he acknowledged what everybody could see with their own eyes, our condition, or our circumstances in life. He wasn't naive. He knew that, of course, there are rich people and poor people, strong and weak. That's just the reality of the world. But, and this is the big but, that has absolutely nothing to do with our equality of rights. This is our fundamental worth as human beings. Fukuzawa argued that every single person, no matter their station in life, has an equal and undeniable right to protect their own life, their own property, and their own personal honor. And he used this brilliant analogy to make it crystal clear. Think about it. A wrestler is obviously in a stronger condition than a sick person, right? But does that give him the right to harm the weaker person? Absolutely not. No way. Their fundamental rights are identical. Just because your condition is stronger doesn't give you the right to violate someone else's fundamental equality. So, if we're all born with these equal rights, what's the engine that creates such massive differences in our conditions? For Fukuzawa, the answer was crystal clear, and it was the core message of his entire book. Let's circle right back to that central puzzle. What is it that separates the wise from the foolish, the rich from the poor? It's not your family name. It's not fate. No, it's something that anyone can acquire. His answer was learning, plain and simple. He said the wise and the wealthy are the ones who have studied and understand how things work. The poor and the subordinate are the ones who are unlearned. But, and this is a really important point, he wasn't talking about just any kind of learning. Right here, Fukuzawa makes this sharp critique of traditional scholarship. He basically dismissed things like memorizing ancient classics and writing poetry as useless learning. Instead, he was all about what he called jitsuryoku, or practical learning. You know, the actual skills you need for daily life and for the modern economy. And this is what he meant. We're talking about the fundamentals, reading, writing, and basic math. But also things like geography, so you could understand trade, physics, to understand how the world actually works, and economics, to manage your own finances and the nation's. These were the real building blocks of a modern, functioning society. Now, this is where Fukuzawa's argument makes this absolutely brilliant leap. He connects this idea of individual, practical learning directly to the fate of the entire nation. It's a really powerful, bottom-up theory of what makes a country strong. The logic here is just so clear and simple. First, you, as an individual, master practical learning. That allows you to achieve personal independence, to stand on your own 2 feet without having to rely on others. And a nation that is made up of independent individuals like that, well, that is the only kind of nation that can truly secure its own national independence. So, why is individual independence so vital? Because, as Fukuzawa says, if you're just dependent on someone else, if you're like a guest in your own country, you can't really have a deep concern for its future. You're just along for the ride, relying on someone else to steer the ship. He uses another incredible analogy here. A nation of dependent people is like a line of blind men with no one to guide them. Just think about that image. They are weak, passive, and vulnerable. True national strength doesn't come from a powerful government ruling over a weak population. It comes from a nation of strong, self-reliant individuals. Fukuzawa's work wasn't just a book for the 1870s. Its core message about the relationship between the citizen and the state is a timeless challenge, one that resonates just as strongly today as it did back then.
This is maybe his most powerful thesis of all. Progress, civilization, innovation, these things don't just trickle down from the top. He believed the government's role is to protect, not to create. The creation, the real engine of progress, has to come from the people themselves.
So ultimately, the responsibility for building a better world doesn't lie with the government. It lies with its citizens. It requires a population that is educated in practical matters, that is independent in spirit, and that is active in pushing society forward while also holding the government accountable for doing its part. And so, all of this leaves us with a question. Fukuzawa saw that the practical learning needed for his time was things like accounting and physics. So what about ours? In a world of AI, climate change, and global interconnectedness, what is the essential jitsuryoku, the practical learning that we as individuals must learn to secure our own independence and ultimately that of our nations? It's a question worth thinking about.